Hello and welcome. We are in the Foundations of Faith course. My name is Boaz Malat, Rabbi Boaz Malat, and this time we will be learning about the topic of living in the presence of God. How can we live with a faith-based awareness that truly changes our lives? That elevates and improves the quality of our lives, and that happens when we learn to live with the awareness that we are in the presence of God. Living in the presence of God, that is our topic. This is the second lesson. What did we learn in the first lesson? So a summary of what we learned last time, we learned that faith is the strongest force in the world, that faith is a person's core value-based understanding of life, the worldview, the outlook on life by which a person conducts his life, in the best case, because that's how it should be. We learned that faith in one God is an acknowledgement that there is one truth, there is absolute justice, there is a creator of the world, a single ruler of the world. Consequently, this world has order. This world is moving and progressing toward a rectified reality, toward a reality of peace and tranquility. This is the source of our hope that one day things will be good here on earth and this world will become a paradise. The way to bring the world to its rectification and tranquility, as we said, begins with faith in one God. And what about faith in one God? It needs to be brought down into practical life. So the way to bring the world to its rectification and well-being, to lives of peace and tranquility, depends on this recognition that there is one master for everyone and that we are obligated to conduct our lives according to the moral values he established. The main moral principles that he established for the whole world are those known as the 7 Noahide laws. These are the essence of the values, the content with which we are supposed to conduct our lives. And this time we want to engage, as we said, in equating God with my eternal opposite. In life, in the presence of God. I have set the law always before me. These are the words of King David. King David essentially gave us here an amazing and very important guide on how to bring faith into our practical lives, how to elevate our entire lives to a good life. In order for us to do this, we need to make God our personal king. Someone who tells us day by day, moment by moment, we live with the awareness that he is our master. If we do this, if we develop this awareness of I have set the Lord always before me, it can first and foremost save us from loneliness. Sometimes in life, in the world, we find ourselves in a situation where we feel no one understands me, no one knows what I'm going through, how hard it is for me. I have no one to share it with. Certainly people who are not married, but even married people in different situations feel that their spouse doesn't understand them and they don't feel that they can share with them. And the truth is, there is someone you can always truly share with, not imaginary, but real, and that is the creator of the world. He is with us all the time. He is always attentive to us. We can share with him. He is a true partner. He is also a partner with possibilities, a partner of flesh and blood. We also share with him. He doesn't always know. He can help us. So first of all, this can take us out of loneliness and the feeling of being alone. It is very encouraging and strengthening when we bring God into every circumstance of life. You have a difficulty, a dilemma, it's hard to make a decision. You feel like you're stuck in a dead end, you don't know what to do, you're in great pain, share your pain with God. That's the advice. What is the meaning and benefit of being in this position of I have set the Lord always before me? This awareness actually teaches us that God speaks to me through all the events of life. When I place God before me always, it's not just something in my mind, in my thoughts. It's a way of looking at life, at the world. And in fact, God's presence here in the world is not just abstract. He's certainly abstract, an abstract God, but he acts through all creatures, through everything that exists around us in the world. He acts through them. Every creature, everything in my environment can be a shofar, can be a calling voice that conveys a message to me from God. And therefore, every plant and every animal can be God's spokesperson to me right now. So I will be attentive, I will be alert, I will pay attention to the space, to the environment. The world is full of divine messages. The world is full of messengers. It could be a billboard, an advertisement, a phone call. Anything we experience around us in our environment can actually be a spokesperson for God. A chance meeting with someone made a comment just out loud, a smile that someone smiled at me. That smile that someone suddenly gave me in some situation, it too can be an answer from God to my question, to my appeal to Him. Things like that. I continue with the benefit and meaning found in the mindset of I have set the Lord always before me. It is very encouraging to know that the one who is with me in every situation is the blessed name. Because the blessed name means that someone created me, gave me my talents and my strengths. He sends me the challenges and struggles in life according to my abilities and my purpose in the world. He always wants what is good for me. He wants my good to such an extent that is even much, much more than I do. Because I think that I want what's good for me, but many times I make choices that aren't actually good for me because I don't know how to choose correctly. But our Creator, the maker of the world and of man, He knows exactly what is good for us. So He wants my good even more than I do. So if I live with the awareness that God is present in the world, I am no longer alone. I look at life, at the world differently. I see in the world so many manifestations of God, and they speak to me and give me life. And I know that there is someone who cares for me, watches over me, and wants the very best for me. When I am in the mindset of, I have set the Lord always before me, I am essentially in the position of being in the palace of a king. Do you know what it means to be in the palace of a king? When you are in a very, very important place with very important people whom you greatly respect, in the palace of a king, you behave differently than you do at home, right? You dress differently, you act differently, your manners, your tone of voice. You wouldn't suddenly shout or lose your composure. You are in the palace of a king. That's how it is when we learn to live with the awareness that we are in the palace of a king. If I constantly remember that I'm being filmed, yes, take a simple example. You're at an event or in a situation where you know you're being filmed right now. How would you behave? How would you be? It'd be nice, right? You'd be good. So if I live with the awareness that Hashem is present in the world all the time and sees me, and He is filming me all the time, Hashem is filming me, is real, is true. All of us. I suddenly live differently. I'm much more refined, much more humane. I'm much more sensitive. I'm a human being. Why? Because I'm in the palace of a king. Hashem sees me this way. Our lives become much more refined, much healthier when we live like this. So the meaning and benefit of being in such a position of shiviti, a life consciousness that is on a higher level. I don't just live for my own interest. What do I get out of it? What do I gain? How much do I enjoy right now? How good does it taste to me? I live with the awareness that there is something much greater than this. I live with the awareness that there is something much greater than this. Living with a constant awareness of the Shemitah, with a cloud always before me, can also bring us to a reality where the question I ask myself at life's crossroads, at the various intersections I encounter, is, what does God want from me? What is right in the eyes of the Creator, in the eyes of our Father in heaven? What is right at this moment? I will make different choices in life. Instead of asking myself all sorts of questions like, is it forbidden? Is it permitted? Is it fun? And other such questions, I will ask myself, what does God want from you here and now? This is a very important question. This is how Rabbi Kook explains to us that we should get used to asking this question in our lives, at the various crossroads, in the places where we need to make decisions. What does God want from me? What is right in God's eyes? is the same thing, of course, to ask, what does God love? What does he hate? Which path is upright in God's eyes? Which path is not upright in God's eyes? And so on and so forth, in this style. Now, a few more practical tips. Okay, we got it. It's not enough just to know that there is a creator of the world and that he watches over the world. We also need to bring this down, to bring it into our practical lives, to live with awareness that God is present here now, watching over us, that we can talk to him, ask him, turn to him. How do we put this into practice in our daily lives? How do we connect this to the here and now, to the simple everyday life? So I'm going to give a few simple tips here. You can add even more as you see fit. We can write ourselves a nice sticker or a note or a reminder on our phone or a background image on the computer or even a message on the alarm clock and so on. Something that reminds me to live with the awareness that God is here and now, with the awareness that God takes care of everything for me, with the awareness that I need to thank him for every good thing and every success I have in my life. Here are some more practical tips to bring this into the practical aspects of our lives. Thank God, really. Bless him for every pleasure we enjoy here in this world. I woke up in the morning, I stood on my feet, I am healthy, whole. I have clothing. I have a home to live in. I have air to breathe. I have light. I have a family, and so on and so forth. For every single thing I ate, thank you very much for the food you gave me. To bring this down to the details of our lives, gratitude is in general a big topic. Maybe one day we'll discuss it on its own. But in any case, thanking God is a very great and important piece of advice for bringing God into our practical lives. That was from the perspective of gratitude. When it comes to difficulties, problems, dilemmas, decisions, and so on, we should pray for God's help. Unlike with a person, where sometimes we don't want to bother someone with small requests, maybe he doesn't have time for me, maybe he's doing more important things with the master of the universe. There is no such problem. He doesn't have a limitation of operators or receptionists to answer the phones. He can answer all the calls from every person in the world at the same time without any problem. And that's why we can pray to him about anything in life. Anything you have, anything you're unsure about, when you don't know what to do, when you feel lost, when you're down, when things didn't go the way you wanted, all sorts of things in life. Turn to him, ask him, share with him, and of course, afterwards, try to reflect and see how he answers you in return. As we said, he answers us through everything around us, through all the scenes of life and the things surrounding us. Some more practical tips for living with an awareness of God's presence. Set a fixed time for yourself every day. This is advice that Rabbi Nachman of Breslov emphasizes. He is not the only one. Many other educators of Israel also recommend setting aside a daily fixed time for personal prayer and solitude with God. The best way is to do this personal prayer, like in this beautiful picture in a quiet corner without people around us, but it can also be done in places where there are people. After you learn and practice this, you can even do it when there are people nearby and still engage in personal prayer. But at least in the beginning, it's best to do it in quiet places where there are no people around and to speak with God. First of all, as we said before, start by thanking him for everything we have to be grateful for. And after we thank him for all that, we can ask for what we need and ask him any questions we have and ask him for advice and salvation. Whatever it is that we need in this world, of course, don't forget to thank him. It's very important every day, even 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour can change our day completely. What do we need to be careful about in this matter? We need to be very, very careful. This is extremely important. We must not turn to or pray to any entity other than the God who created the world. Do not associate with him any created being, any prophet, any angel, or any other kind of force. Only pray to the one who created the world, the one who governs the world to the blessed name. So it's very important not to get confused, not to, sometimes people get carried away by all sorts of things. What did we learn today? We learned that faith is something very important, the most powerful thing in the world, and this faith needs to be brought into our lives. To bring it into practical life means to learn to live with the awareness of the presence of the Creator of the world. We saw some practical tips on how to do this. We saw some benefits that you could gain from it. I hope that what I shared was useful to you, enlightening, and contributes to your life. Anyone who has comments or questions is welcome to contact me. My email address is here, and you can also reach out through the channel. I will do my best to answer wherever I can. Blessings to you. Happy are you, Israel.